life. The same, the same thing. But the second question is, the first question is, what steps should I take to surrender to God to achieve it? Surrender to God. The second one is, what can I pray for God to work in my favor to achieve it? It's not the same. Surrender to God is something, and to pray to God to work in my favor to achieve it is another thing. Because first of all, we have to surrender to God. Because God might have some dreams for us. He might have some plans for us. But I may have my own plans. And I have to make sure that I follow what God wants me to do, not what I want to do in my life. And the third question is, what steps can I take to make changes in my personal life to achieve it? I'm sorry. What steps can I take to make changes in my personal life to achieve it? The next one, what steps do I have to take to make changes in my spiritual life to achieve it? Okay, leaders, meaning pastors, pastors' wives, ministers, leaders in the church, achieve their visions when they, number one, work intentionally for the effective implementation of the vision. Number two, develop writing skills for goal setting. It's important to write down the goals. And number three, make visionary decisions to help achieve the goals. Setting goals tend to eliminate confusion and override fear. I'm going to ask Pastor Keith to come to read these verses, please. Okay, David?
John 14, 1 to 4. Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. And whither I go, ye know, and the way ye know. John 14, 1 to 4.
So, we may think, Pastor John, we may think that if Jesus is God, why would he say that he has to go and prepare mansions for us? If he is God, can't he just give a command to the 1 million or millions of the angels that are around the throne of God and tell them, prepare 8,000 million houses for the people on earth, so that when I call them, the houses are ready. If he's God, he can do that, right? Yes or no? Yes. He's God. Right, Pastor John?
Yes.
But why would he say, I am going to prepare a place for you? In my Father's house and my Father's heaven, there are many mansions. Do you know why? Why? What do you think? Why? Why? If he's God, he made the earth in 7 days. He could make the mansions in 1 day, in 1 minute, in 6 months. There is a pastor from Africa about 20 years ago. He shared his testimony. He died, and he was dead for 4 days. And his wife claimed to God and she took the corpse, the dead body. He took it to a church of Reina Bongi. That was in Africa 30 years ago. And he took the dead body of her husband. He was a pastor. And he took it to the pastor Reina Bongi's church. And they put the dead body in the underground, in the basement. Reina Bongi was praying and preaching, but he didn't know that the dead body was there in the basement of the church. At the end, in the middle of the service, the dead body was 4 days dead, and the body of the dead pastor came back to life. Came to life, and it was a very, very news. I don't know if you heard of it. About 20 years ago. Reina Bongi. You can look it up later on. Reina Bongi. It was a very good news for many Christians about that, because that is not normal. 4 days after he had died, he came back, he resurrected. And then he shared the person, the dead body, the dead pastor who came back to life, went all over the world talking about his testimony. Because he had the experience to go to heaven. And he saw the mansions. And I have good news for you. The mansions are ready. He saw them ready. And Jesus is just waiting for the Father, Heavenly Father, to give the command for the trumpet to be played, so that we can hear it and go to heaven for the rapture. But how long was that since Jesus went to heaven, and how many years how many years have passed? Huh? Since Jesus went to heaven to this day, how many years have passed? 2,000 years. But the mansions are ready. I believe the reason why Jesus told them he was going to prepare the mansions for us, and now the mansions are ready, is that, number one, he gave them a lesson on preparation. We have to prepare for everything we do for God. We cannot improvise. We should prepare things for God. We should always be prepared to serve God with all our hearts, with everything that we can, doing our best for God. Always doing our best for God. That's what He wants. So He gave us a lesson on preparation. We have to prepare. Besides that, I believe that Jesus could not just make, like now, it's very normal to have neighborhoods with a guard, security guard, guarding the neighborhood, and but all the houses are the same, or maybe 2, 3 more. But most of the houses are the same in a neighborhood. That is, with the fence, with the security guard, and so on. I believe Jesus is taking into consideration the taste of everybody for those mansions to be built. Everybody's taste, what everybody wants in their houses to be, in their mansions to be. And besides that, he's also taking into consideration the works that we are doing in heaven and on earth. The works that we are doing on earth. I don't know if you have heard about it from Dr. Sam Seal, Pastor David or Pastor Keith, she gave us the testimony. I think one of the first times she had the experience of going to heaven. And the Lord told her, Jesus told her, okay, let's go to see your house. So she was very happy to go to see her house. But when she went to see her house, it was just something like this. And she said, what? Is that my house? I thought I was going to have a mansion. And the Lord said, salvation is free because it's not free, but I already paid for salvation. So be happy that you're going to heaven. But then he said, for this house to be built bigger, you have to do your work on earth to win souls, to disciple souls, to disciple people, to make sure that the people can go to heaven one day. So she understood. And she worked, ever since she has been working on that. And many years later, she had the experience to go back to heaven with Jesus. And when she did, the Lord told her, let's go to see your house. When she went there, there was I think 2 or 3 stories house. Beautiful, big, a real mansion. And she said, wow, this is my house. The Lord said yes, because we have been working very hard to make sure that people can come to heaven. So give me my clap now. Pastor David, have you heard that testimony from Pastor Dr. Sarah?
Yeah, I hear already.
Yes.
Yes. So the Lord cannot just make just all modern house for everybody, because He has to take into consideration our taste, what we want to have in heaven, but also what we are doing here on earth to make sure that our house there is very big and very nice, right? Yes. So Jesus wanted to make sure that we understood the importance of preparation. Preparation. The Bible says, not says the Bible directly, but the theologians say that God is a big architect. Only a big architect, a great architect, could do the earth as He has done. Only a great architect can do something like what He has done. But that takes planning, preparation, and action. And first of all, writing down everything. You see, a mansion cannot be built without the plans, the drawings, and all the information for what the mansion is going to have on it. Right, Pastor John? Pastor John, when you are going to do some work, electrician work, in a big house, in a mansion house, do you ever ask them to show you the maps, the plans, the drawings? You do, right? Yes. And it's very important that those drawings are correctly made. Otherwise, Pastor John cannot just go there and fix the electricity problems if he doesn't have correct drawings. So the same thing happens with the visions and with our goals. We have to make sure that we write it correctly. I have a friend of mine who has the best house in Panama. It's a beautiful, huge mansion. But every time, but every time that she has a problem with her house, she has a room where she has all the drawings, all the maps, all the plans of the house. And then she calls the architect that built the house to make sure she gives the right, she has the right information to give to the electrician, to give to the plumber, to give to everybody that has to be the one that has to repair something, a leaking or something on some of the roofs. Because that's a five-story room, five-story house. Five-story house. And so that's why it's very important to make sure that we are it correctly. Right, Nelly? Do you understand? Okay, sit down. Uh-huh. Only when you can measure your specific goals will you know when you have achieved them or when you have to make changes in them. So, the specific goals have to be measurable. I'm going to give you a short testimony of somebody whose name was Cecil Day. Cecil Day was a Christian in the United States. Have you heard of a hotel chain called Days Inn in the US? Days Inn hotel chain. Days Inn. Days Inn is a hotel chain in the US, and they are also in some other countries in the world. In Panama, there is Days Inn hotels. Cecil Day was a Christian who had very big dreams from God. And God gave him the dream to build a hotel chain. In 4 years, he built 40,000 hotel rooms. 40,000 hotel rooms. Distributed in about 2,000 hotels around the US. In 4 years. Can you build 2,000 hotels in 4 years? Throughout the US? No. Only if you had God's dream that He gave to you. And only if you do correct planning, correct drawing, correct maps, and everything. So he did. He built 2,000 hotels in 4 years. But, as you know, sometimes there are problems. There was an oil crisis in the US, and his business almost went into bankruptcy. Almost. Everything almost fell down after he built the 2,000 hotels. But he didn't just complain and stay sad and did nothing. He started to work about it. He re-engineered his mission and goals. Not the vision. Why not the vision? He re-engineered his missions and his goals, but not the vision. Why? Why not the vision? What did I tell you about the vision? Once you write the vision should not change. What you can change is the missions, or the mission, and the goals, the steps. But the vision should not be changed. So he had some decisions in his personal life. And that's why I told you that we cannot make goals or visions based on what other people will do for us. He was not expecting an oil crisis and a financial crisis in the US. But the financial crisis came. But he did not just stay like this, crying and doing nothing. He decided to visit 3 bankers per day for 21 months. How many would that be? 3 bankers per day for 21 months. How many bankers would he visit? Managers of the banks. How many who he visit per month? How many? If he visited 3 per day, how many would it be in a month? Pastor Kid? No, per month. Per month.
Months.
3 per day. How many? Who said something there? Dervin, how many? If it was 3 per month, 3 per day, in 1 month, how many would it be? Per month. Times 90. 90 per month. So let's say that he visited them for 20 months. How many would that be? 1,800 plus 90 more. 1,890. Let's say about almost 2,000 bankers, managers of banks in 21 months. 2,000 bankers, 3 per day, until he could get all the loans that he needed, so that the hotel chain did not just go ruined, so that he could not go into bankruptcy. 2,000 bankers, until he could get all the money that he needed. What would have happened if he had done for the first week 3 bankers a day for the first week, 5 days or 7 days? 21 bankers, and all of them said no, and he could get discouraged and he did not continue visiting the bank. What could that happen? Huh? What would have happened to the chain hotel if he did that? If he got discouraged? So that's why it's very important not to feel discouraged, because problems are going to happen. There is always problems. But remember this. Remember this. We can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. Let's always remember that. Problems are going to be. There is always problems in life. But we cannot get discouraged, because we have the great God who will help us. That's what Cecil Day did. And because he could save the company, he could save the 2,000 hotels with the action steps that he took. When he died, Days Inn Hotels was debt-free and prosperous. The company, the 2,000 hotels, were debt-free and prosperous. That's why almost 80 years since, let's see, about 40 years since he died, the chain hotels still prosperous and going on and working properly. We cannot get discouraged when the problems come. Problems will be there, but Jesus is with us. Amen.
Amen.
Give him a clap. I told you about John Edmund Hagee. Remember yesterday? I told you about his story. He was a sick boy, sick child. He did something wrong at the beginning, but then he received a vision from God. And he worked on that vision. And later on, he got such a big ideas from God that he could run for almost from still. Those 2 institutes are still working. He's not alive anymore. He already died. But those institutes are already working, because he did a legacy for the next generations to take care of it. And John Edmund Hagee said something. Attempt something so great for God that it is doomed to failure unless God be in it. Let's read it all together. at the count of 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Attempt something so great from God.
It
It's
is
doomed to failure unless God
begin
begins it.
it. By John
Edmund Hagel.
Edmund Hegel.
We're talking about unrealistic goals. It's very easy to write out realistic goals. But to write out unrealistic goals, they will probably go to failure. But if God gave you those goals, those dreams, that vision, He will get it through. Because He is all powerful. He is the Shaddai, the all powerful God. But then John Edmund Hagel, he just didn't have the vision for God and did nothing. He started to write goals. And he didn't write the goals and the vision and everything in one day. He didn't do that. He did the following in order to have the Leadership Institute. He did it to start the Haggai Leadership Institute. Number 1, he obtained 2 buildings to host 100 students each per month. 2 buildings. In each one, 100 students per month. Number 2, he raised funds to support the Volkovs Institute for 55 years. He was not a billionaire, but for 60 years, for 55 years, and now more than 55 years, more probably 60 years. How much would it cost to bring students from all over the world, pay the institute paid expenses for the traveling, for the food, for the hotel accommodations, everything? How much would it cost? Let's say that the traveling $2,000 because it's going to Hawaii or going to Singapore. All those travelings are not cheap. Let's say $2,000 for the travel. Let's say for food for 30 days, $1,000 at least. And for the hotel accommodations, $1,000. So per student, about $4,000. And no 100 in each institute. So 200 students.